Hey guys, so this is a new format that I've been thinking about trying, and anyone who kind of follows on TikTok predominantly, but also a little bit on Instagram, I started doing these kind of 15-second diary of a dad type skits, I guess, really, to kind of showcase some of the ridiculousness that is around parenting. And I just thought, I'm getting into YouTube a little bit more. I used to like creating quite a bit on YouTube. Haven't done anything in a while. Started doing a little bit and thought, I really want to do something either on the podcast, which is more of kind of just a 10-15 minute guess my thoughts really. And that I might still export this onto the podcast. I don't know yet, but I thought I'll put it on YouTube, see what happens, put it through the socials, see if people want it. Probably still going to do it regardless of whether people want it or not, FYI. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And so I went to I was working in London the other day, and I got into the office, and as you start having a chat with how's everything, how's the kids, and I just had like the most ridiculous night with Theo before his bedtime. And it's one of those where, and I know everyone says pick your battles, and I struggle with that, because I just think I've got a very clear sense of right and wrong. And so if something's wrong, it's wrong. Anyway, I don't know, I won't go into that. But it was just it was like a minute before his bedtime, and he's very much he needs a little bit of signposting. He needs a little bit of this is going to happen in 2 minutes, this is going to happen in 5 minutes, and I've kind of learned that over time, and that's actually been a massive help. Just and I was talking to someone else about this, just saying, like, trying to get your kids to do something, trying to get them to do something at the time that you want them to do it is nearly impossible. But something that I found massively helpful is, instead of going, you need to get your shoes on now because we're going out, saying, in 5 minutes I need you to put your shoes on because we're going out. And especially when he was younger and had zero concept of time, it was brilliant. Because you could say, right, we need to do this in 10 minutes. I don't want 10 minutes. Okay, you can have 15. I'm thinking, you're having 5. Like, regardless, it doesn't matter. You can have an hour, but you're still having 5. As he's got a little bit older, he started to grasp the concept of time, and he's also grasped how to use bloody Alexa. So the thing, because he's a very rules-based child, he if I say we've got 5 minutes, and if he agrees to that, he'll be like, put a timer on then. Let's time this shit. And I go, okay, cool. So we set timers. So our kind of Alexa history is just like a smorgasbord of 1, 2, 5, 10 minute timers. And he so we set timers, but now he knows how to turn them off. So he'll just be like, Alexa, stop the timer. Like, you little shit. So we worked through that, and now we've kind of moved off from having to set timers to just being aware that something is going to happen in the immediate future, and that's cool. So, rewinding back to where I started with this, I went working in London, speaking to a friend about how are her kids, how are my kids, and I was like, man, so Theo decided. I try to for him to be in bed, or definitely on his way to bed, by 7:30, and it was like 7:28. Right, it's like 2 minutes and we're going to bed. Cool. He's got these. I don't know if you've seen these like transformer bots. They're like these little, these little mini transformers. And but they look like household objects. So there's like pencils, or like coffee machines, or like a cup of hot chocolate with marshmallows in, and they transform into little robots. They're actually pretty cool. And it's one of those, this fad that I only really noticed with kind of like Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol, when that started taking off, with those kind of surprise eggs where you've got just no fucking clue what's in them, but there's 20 to collect, and you collect them, and it plays. They're so clever because they play to the adult, and I'm like, I have to collect them. And we found ourselves going, every time we do the shop, we're just like, oh, we'll just throw in one of these because I want to collect them. And so, yeah, Theo's loving life. So anyway, go off topic. This is the first one of these. If you're, you will get used to this. 10 conversations. My brain is just multiple places at once. So the only time that I'm going to apologize for it is now. So I'm sorry, but deal with it. So that was quite aggressive. Well, no, I apologize that I go off in multiple directions, but please bear with me, is what I mean. So, go back to these bots. He's got maybe, I don't know, 20 of these little bots. And at 7:28, he decided that he wanted to organize them. Say very rules-based chat. I wanted to organize them into rare bots and common bots. They the bot company don't do this themselves, so it's not like that there's a sheet where he's like, oh yeah, that's a rare. This is just in however he deems them to be rare or not rare. So he wanted to do this. The way to do this, apparently, was to transform them all, give them a little look over, and then he'd decide, I don't know what criterion he's using, but would decide how to organise them. So he did that. And I said, right, but we've got to go to bed. And he's going, but I need to organise them. And in my head, I'm kind of like, what do I do here? Because we need to go to bed for 7:30 because that's the time the bedtime is. At the same time, if I really kick off about this, we're going to end up in arguments, meltdowns, and all of this stuff. And it's just going to take longer to do the thing that I want him to do, but he's not listening to the thing that I need him to listen to. And it was quite frustrating. So what I ended up doing is just helping him. So I said, right, I'm going to transform these bots with you. And we sat down and transformed bots. About 5 minutes it took. This is the thing. It took like five actual minutes. And he went to bed straight, because it was, as we were doing this, it was, you are going to bed as soon as we've no, I am. And so we did that. It was fine, but I don't know. I just kind of think, on the one hand, it's like, you need to listen to what I'm saying, but on the other hand, I don't want him to kind of follow rules blindly. I was quite a rebellious kid, especially when things just didn't make sense. When it's like, you have to do this, but why? It doesn't make sense. I did, and that streak still comes out every now and then. So I want him to be a bit like that. But I also want him to do what I want him to do, which I get is oxymoronic. I get it's paradoxical, but it's, I don't know. So pick your battles is where I'm at with that one. We did transform the bots. We put them. We've got those fancy chocolate boxes that come like in little tiers. So there's like a box, and then it has like 3 little shelves in with different chocolates on. So we had one of those at some point in time. Chocolates are long gone, but the box still exists. So we've now got a tier 1 of rare bots, a tier 2. Which is common, and then tier 3, which is also common, but we've got so many commons, we don't have enough space because this chocolate box wasn't massive. So picking your battles, something that I'm working on, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you. So I'm gonna try and do a couple of these a week. If they go down well, cool. I might, as I say, I'm kind of tempted to put them onto the podcast. I did that one over Christmas, kind of the end of season 1 podcast, which was just basically, it was just me talking, and it's the only podcast I've done where there was only me, no one else. I quite enjoyed shock horror, doing a bit of a monologue and just giving my thoughts on. Kind of did a bit of a deeper dive on guilt and anxiety. That I've had a lot of feedback on that, and people seem to like it, which is cool. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking if I do a couple of these on YouTube a week, I could always stitch them together to make kind of like a half an hour podcast. Put 2 or 3 of them together. And do like a midweek release as well. So we have a Monday release, which is kind of the traditional interview style podcast, and then we could do, I don't know, like a Thursday release, which is like Diary of a Dad podcast. Might be overkill, might not. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, the first step is just to see whether this has any value, and I guess we'll find out when we put it live. So anyway, it's Friday. It's time to go get a beer or something. Feels like that's then the start of the weekend, and really looking forward to tomorrow morning. Saturday morning is probably my favorite time of the week, because I go downstairs and this is my favorite coffee cup. It's from Hudson Bay in Toronto, and I get up, I put the oven on, and I get a Tesco Pano Chocolat out of the freezer, pop it in the oven, 180 degrees, 22 minutes, and I make a coffee. And it's just brilliant. I get my favorite coffee cup, make a coffee. I just love it. It's just my favorite part of the week. So very much looking forward to that tomorrow. And whatever you're doing, hope you have a great weekend. And looking forward to future episodes of Diary of a Dad. Have a good one.